everybody. Welcome to the Prairie View Cricket Complex. This matchup on day 2 of the Houston Youth Premier League 2024 features the Texas Legends and the Katy Raiders. Texas Legends will be batting because the Katy Raiders won the toss, and under moist, damp conditions, but very bright and sunny skies, they've decided Katy Raiders to have a bowl. So, openers for the Texas Legends are Captain Rishi Ramesh and Priyadarshan Arvind Kumar. And it will be Mr. Arvind Kumar who takes first strike against the left arm pace of Varun Handa. First ball coming, here we go. Looked like it was going down the leg side. Oh, he's giving him. No, it was angled down the leg side but swung back in to straighten up, and I think that would have hit leg stump. So 1 ball, 1 wicket. A really fast start here. I talked about the damp conditions. Well, the damp conditions did not have anything to do with that dismissal because it was a full delivery. It was swinging in. Swinging out. So from over the wicket, it appeared as it was going down leg, but then straightened to come back in, and I think that was hitting leg stump. Umpire Sagar Bafsar is the one who decided that that was in front, and 1 delivery into this high-stakes matchup, and we already have the first wicket on the way. So the Katy Raiders, the decision to bowl first paying immediate dividends, as unfortunately Mr. Arvind Kumar has to take the long walk back to the pavilion, and 1 delivery into this innings. Texas Legends are none for 1. So none for 1. We have a new batter coming to the crease. This new batter is going to be Pranay Balaji. Pranay Balaji, I don't know that he would have expected to come to the crease as quickly. But if you're a number 3 batter in a side that's batting first, you always have the mentality that you're opening anyway, because exactly what happened here could always happen. You get 1 delivery and then you're at the wicket. So he's coming in, Pranay Balaji, to join his captain Rishi Ramesh. So the left arm pace of Varun Handa paying immediate dividends. And it is going to be a right-hander. So he opened the bowling to Priyadarshan Arvind Kumar, who is a left-hander. And so that outswing to the left-hander is, I think, what did him there. A ball that would appear to have been going down leg, but then swung essentially as an outswinger, swung back enough to take what I think was going to be leg stump had his pad not been in the way. But now the challenge is going to be to the right-hander, so he'll be bowling in-swingers to the right-hander. So let's see exactly how well this is handled by Pranay Balaji. Played into the leg side. That is evidence of the in-swing I was referring to. And he just clips it. Good line. Probably about an off-stump line, swinging in, and then he clipped it to the middle or to the leg side. So off the mark immediately is Pranay Balaji. And the first run on the board. You're already on the back foot when a wicket has fallen before you've scored any runs. So from that standpoint, you're going to want to be a little bit more careful. But now Rishi Ramesh is on strike, the captain. And again, Rishi Ramesh, not just the Texas Legends captain, but also the captain for the U19 squad for the USA. I believe that you're going to see a similar type of delivery. That left arm angle from over the wicket, swinging into the right-handers, is pretty much a standard type of delivery for a left-handed pace bowler. Here he is again. Oh, you lose the advantage of swing if you bowl it short of length. And that one, essentially, not quite a short delivery, but pitching far enough away from the captain that he's just able to work it into the offside, the leg side for a single. So let's see exactly how well they handle the conditions. You would have already been on the back foot from having to bats first in these conditions. As I said, you might just be able to see a bit of sheen in the outfield. It's very wet, very moist here in the Houston metro area. It's always very humid, and so that results in a lot of dew. Solid in defense this time, Pranay Balaji. So an eventful first over that has already seen a wicket fall, but this pair appears to be taking some time to watch the ball onto the bat and make sure that they're able to sort of fend off these initial overs that you would think would be a little tricky. And let's see exactly how well they handle things from here, because my sense is that it's going to continue that way for the next few overs. Pinching a single here. For the next few overs, it is going to be wet and damp. The advantage for you as a batter, as a batting side, the side batting first, is if you're just patient and let's say stay there for the next 5 or 6 overs, then the conditions will dry up a little bit, and then when the ball gets wet, it doesn't quite swing as much, and so you could potentially put yourself in a position where you can cash in, but you have to sort of be judicious and see off these several overs first. 3 runs on the board. Solid in defense, and that is a good first over bowled by Vardhan Handa. Good, really good first over. In fact, took a wicket, only conceded 3 runs. That is the end of over number 1. The score is 3-1. 3 for 1 after 1. Successful first over ball by Vardhan Handa. And now it's going to be the imposing figure of Aaron Nadkarni, who takes up the attack from the highway end. Interestingly, he'll be running into the wind to bowl. Actually, my apologies. No, the wind is actually switched directions today. It's coming from the south, so he'll be running in with the wind at his back, as you would expect from a big strapping fast bowler. And here he is coming in to bowl to Rishi Ramesh. Very full outside the line of off. Just Rishi letting this one go. In fact, this is Pranay Balaji on strike. Pranay Balaji watching this full delivery from Aaron Nadkarni sail through to the keeper, wicket keeper and captain Arya Kananta. I mentioned earlier that the umpire operating at the northern end of the ground is Sagar Bhavsar. The umpire who is currently the standing umpire facing you is Vivek Raj. Good delivery, flirting with this one on the outside. Oh, he found the edge. Kisses the outside edge, and it goes right through to the gloves of Arya Kananta. Huge appeal, and full credit to Pranay Balaji, who did not wait for umpire Vivek Raj to raise his finger, immediately turned and walked away. So, number one, it's a wicket. That's a big development in this game. Bigger picture for me is the fact that Pranay Balaji respects the rule of the game so much that he knows that he nicked it, and he did not even wait for the umpire to give him out. He immediately turned and walked. So full credit to him, Pranay Balaji. But unfortunately, in the context of this game, he has lost his wicket. 2 runs to his name from 4 balls faced. And my goodness, initially, again, we thought it was going to be tricky for the team batting first. but it certainly is the case that 2 wickets have fallen here to make things really difficult for the Texas Legends. They're now 3 for 2. And Rishi Ramesh, as the captain of the batting side, is standing at the non-striker's end, and he's seeing wickets tumble all around him. So he's going to have to help, and in fact he will be helped here by Siddharth Saladi, who will be coming in with his team, as they say, in a spot of bother. 3 for 2 is a really tricky and a difficult scoreline, and only 3 runs on the board inside the power play. You have 2 wickets have fallen, damp conditions, a fired up fast bowler. These are the situations that definitely will test you as a cricketer. So now it's going to be up to Sid Saladi to be able to sort of, from his standpoint, make it such that the conditions are not something that you concern yourself with. Just put the conditions out of your mind and see what you can produce with the bat in hand. Here he is, first delivery, driven into the offside for no run. And look at the follow through for Aaron Nadkarni. It never ceases to amaze at how when a fast bowler is fired up, that follow through gets longer and longer. And by the way, so the very first delivery of this over, my apologies, I missed it. It was a wide. So the actual score is 4 for 2. 3 singles, a wide, but unfortunately for the Legends, 2 wickets are down. Now Sid Saladi on strike, and Nadkarni fired up and coming in again. Solid looking delivery. This is played off the back foot for 4. That is actually a lovely shot. Really, really well played. Kept his head over it, played it late, and kept it intentionally on the ground, and it raced. It's too fine for the fielder in the gully area, and then deep third was entirely too straight to get to it. So first boundary of the day, and definitely you see here that Sid Saladi, as I said, you can certainly get yourself in the position of being able to counteract the conditions if you just relax and play proper cricket. So I think you see evidence of that there. Sid Saladi now with the score at 8, and he's now off the mark with a boundary. You would think that he would just be able to just continue playing with a straight bat as he does there, and just continue to just see the conditions off. What I mean by that is, in another 5 or so overs, the outfield will be drier, the ball will be a little bit less new, and then you should be able to score runs pretty effectively from there. But I think the job now is just to make sure that you see the conditions off. Just put what you need to do, or do what you need to do to not take any risks, and then take runs as they come. Full outside off. Yet another wide, bowled by Aaron Nadkarni. Aaron Nadkarni with plenty of pace. Yesterday, I think he saw that he bowled well enough, but I think he would have bowled many more extras than he or his coach would have been happy with. So we'll see if he's able to sort of counteract that. All the pace in the world at this level. Of course, he would have played for the US U19 squad that was in the World Cup a month or so ago. Very straight this time, clip to backward square, good sliding stop. They run through for a quick single. And now 2 balls remaining here in over number, I think that 1 ball remaining in over number 2. Texas Legends again asked to bat under tricky conditions. I think that they have the skill set to be able to maneuver the ball around and sort of see out the difficult conditions, but it's going to be up to Captain Rishi Ramesh, who is now on strike, and the rest of the Legends, who have been rocked back here by a couple of quick wickets, but the challenge is now going to be to stay at the wicket. Solid in defense. That's Sohan Matam with the sliding stop in the covers, and that should be the end of over number 2. Good over overall. Another wicket falls. 1 wicket has fallen in each over. The Texas Legends on the back foot. 10 for 2. Ten for 2, Texas Legends batting first. 1 wicket has fallen in each over that has been bowled so far. Vardhan Handa taking the new ball. He took a wicket with the very first delivery that he bowled in this match. And he's now going to be bowling to Sid Saladi. Defended for no run. Good looking delivery. That left arm angle over the wicket, swinging into the right-handers, but well negotiated here by Sid Saladi. And my sense is that this pair has an idea of what the situation is and what it requires, and so not taking any chances so far, which is exactly what you want to see. Here's Handa again. So given where you are right now in this tournament, we're in the first weekend of the 2024 Houston Youth Premier League. Interestingly, 4 teams, the Katy Raiders, Texas Legends, TCC Kings, and the Texas Skywalkers have all played 2 games, those first 2 games yesterday. All of the teams won 1 and lost 1. And I'll go through some of that in just a second after this delivery. Full outside off and drilled away for 4. That is a good looking stroke. Oh my goodness. In fact, there was a sweeper out there on the offside. Didn't quite see him at first, and he slid to his right, trying to prevent that one, but not able to keep it from going over the rope. So really good effort in the deep, but Sid Saladi does have another boundary. And looking at that replay again, that ball was very full. It was in the slot, outside off, and hammered away through that outside, or through that cover point area. The sweeper on the offside came all the way across, made a valiant effort, not able to prevent it from going. So another boundary here to Sid Saladi. This one into the covers. Wanted a single, but not going to be there. So as I was saying about the standings, all 4 teams have won 1 and lost 1 by virtue of the best run rate, or the best net run rate by a fair distance. The Katy Raiders are on top. Their net run rate is .4250. Texas Legends are second with their net run rate of .0250. Outside off, right cut to backward point again for no run. Then the TCC Kings and the Texas Skywalkers, both with negative net run rates. The TCC Kings have a minus .0750. And the Skywalkers are minus .03750. So the best 2 teams, at least as it relates to the standings as of right now, are who you're watching. The Texas Legends and the Katy Raiders. Outside off, looking to wave and miss it this one. Not making any contact. So a good over bowled despite the boundary. That boundary was the only scoring shot in the over. After 3, the score is 14 for 2. Nat Carney with the new ball in hand again. Starting his second over, very far outside the line of off. And Nat Carney struggling a bit with his line. So that is going to be the third wide that he has bowled in, let's call it 1 over plus, because he's bowled now 9 deliveries. 3 of them are wides. So he has a bit of cleanup work to do with the line that he's bowling. Bowling a fuller length, which is what you want to see. He has the pace to trouble the batters with short deliveries. But as of right now, keeping it relatively full. Got a wicket with that fuller ball, but just needs to find the right line. There it is. Good looking ball. Played into the mid-off area for no run. Rishi Ramesh taking his time to get settled. He is now 1 from 3. Make that 1 from 4. And Rishi Ramesh, solid player for a number of different reasons. As I said earlier, the captain of the US U19 team. Go through some of his figures from his tournament so far in a minute. Short delivery played off the back foot. That's racing toward the point boundary. Slowing down a little bit, but it will have the legs to get there. And he does score his first boundary of the day. Rishi Ramesh going onto the back foot, just opening the face and getting that one racing in that direction behind point for the first boundary. So it's just in talking about the team from yesterday, the Legends against the Katy Raiders. It was an interesting game. Rishi Ramesh, in fact, no, that was actually an ongoing game right now. We'll get to the games yesterday in just a second. Yesterday, the TCC Kings versus the Texas Legends. Rishi Ramesh put 73 big runs on the board from 50 balls with 4 4s and 3 6s, so he had an absolutely scintillating game there. And I'll go through the rest of his figures in just a minute. Slot, and it was drilled but straight to point. And I'll tell you what, that ball in the slot, I mentioned that Aaron Nat Carney is bowling a fuller length. This one was absolutely in the slot, outside off, and Rishi Ramesh drilling it. Went at pace, but it is Sachin Selvakumar who is standing at point, who easily converted the boundary into a dot ball. So good work on his part to prevent that from going to the boundary. Here is Nat Carney again. Good looking drive, and I'll tell you what, they steal a single. Should not really have been a single there, but the fielder at mid-off sort of tumbling over, not able to prevent that from going to the boundary. Rishi Ramesh, in the first game that he played yesterday, unfortunately for him, didn't get going. Scored only 4 runs before he was caught on the boundary, but made up for it with that 73 that I mentioned a second ago. So definitely high caliber player here. Good delivery, and this is going to be a single. The best thing for you as a batting side is to be able to respect the good deliveries and score off of the ones that you can. Even if you just tap the good deliveries around for singles, then that puts you in a position where you can continue to sort of have the scoreboard ticking and then do what you can. As I mentioned, the longer this innings goes, the drier it gets and the easier scoring will be. So right now you're essentially playing a waiting game. 21 runs are on the board. And here's the last ball coming up in over number 4. What a great delivery, lifting, going past the outside edge. That is absolutely a brilliant delivery for the pace bowler. Rishi Ramesh, I think, is very happy that that one did not kiss off of the outside edge. That is the end of over number 4. The score is 21 for 2. 21 for 2 after 4 overs. So your scoring rate is 5.25. Scoring at less than a run a ball, but you know that scoring is going to be difficult to start this match. And one would think that as Varun Handa comes in now to start his 3rd over, that things would get better the longer they stay there. Driven wide of mid-off. Good work by Sachin Selvakumar to be able to prevent that one from going to the boundary. Nobody in the deep, still inside the power play. So had that ball gotten by him, that certainly would have been a boundary. But he does well enough to keep it from going to the boundary. You get a single though, so scoring out 22 for 2. And just probably a little too early to start talking about projected scores, because you're still in that period where you're sort of negotiating the conditions. But this pair, I think, is going well, and that is a wild delivery that gets by. It's going to be 5 wides, I believe. No, in fact, it doesn't go all the way to the boundary. They run 2, and so 2 plus the wide means 3 runs gets added to the total. Tell you what, wides alone are keeping Texas Legends in the game as of right now. So that is 25 for 2, and of that 25 there have been 6 wides. So essentially around 24% of the runs are coming in wides. I don't know that you want to have that be a stat, and you're going to want to clean that up if you're the Legends. I'm sorry, if you're the Raiders. The Legends will certainly accept the gifts that are being given to them. Short and hammered into the point area again. A couple of shots that have gone right in that area. Rishi Ramesh solidly playing that one, but the field set exactly for that type of shot. That ball goes to either side of that fielder, and it's an easy 4. So you're going to be able to, you need to bring that ball a little closer. Short again and wide, but not this one, not too wide to the extent that it's not a wicket. I'm sorry, not adjudged to be wide by umpire Sagar Bavsar. But the left-hander, again, angling that ball across the righty, but what you're trying to do is be about on that off-stump line. Anything too far outside often that presents scoring opportunities like that. Cut away in the air, a little bit too much in the, maybe too aerial for Rishi Ramesh, but the width is what the problem was on that occasion. Presented a scoring opportunity, and as I mentioned, from that angle, you're going to have to keep that ball on the off-stump line. If it's that far outside off, then it allows the batter to free his arms, and Rishi Ramesh does not need an invitation to play that shot. He's now up to 11, make that 10 from 11 balls faced. Sid Saladi 11 from 12 balls faced. And the scoreboard ticking along. The scoring rate has now picked up to 6.21. And we'll see what that might look like here in a minute. Outside off. And this time Rishi Ramesh just allows it to go through to the keeper for no run. So you get the sense that a bit of the pressure has been taken off. And it really does feel as though this pair putting on a partnership that is now worth some 24 runs. Looking for a single there. They'll get an easy single as this is played down to a long off. Fielder in the deep, that's Sachin Selvakumar. Single to close things out in over number 5. So we'll go through what this might look like. 1 over coming up in the power play, or 1 over remaining in the power play. That will be coming up in a minute. 30 for 2. 30 for 2 after 5, and we have our first bowling change of the day. This is Aditya Ayapan replacing Aaron Nadkarni. It's ball outside the line of off. Rishi Ramesh playing at this one and missing. Aditya Ayapan, right-handed seam bowler, bowling over the wicket to captain Rishi Ramesh, who is now 11 from 14 with 2 boundaries. Sid Salade also 11 runs against his name from 12 balls faced, and also with 2 boundaries. So this partnership now worth 26. Very important partnership in the context of this game, because they were on the back foot, certainly. They were 4 for 2. And what you're trying to do in those situations is just steady the ship and wait for scoring to get a little easier. You get the sense that the scoring is a little easier at this point. Quick single taken, shy of the stumps at the non-striker's end, but Rishi Ramesh, I think, would have been home even had that been a better throw. Don't know that that would have bothered him much, and again, the idea is just to continue picking up singles the way that you are right now. So from that standpoint, I think you're doing well enough. Now Sid Saladi on strike. Outside off. Too far outside off. So yet another wide. That is now the 7th wide bowled inside 6 overs. So when you're going at the rate of more than 1 wide and over, you're essentially giving away free runs to the opposition. And having to bowl an extra ball and then concede an extra run is not something that the coach will be very happy with. Oh, inside edge, that did not go where he was looking for it. But he gets a single anyway. You'll take that bonus because that certainly came off the inside edge. Could easily ricochet back onto the stumps. But he lives to fight another day, Sid Saladi. Score ticking along. After this delivery, maybe we'll look at what Sid Saladi has done so far. Appeal for an LBW, loud shout, but umpire Vivek Raj shakes the head no. Sid Saladi just looking through the scoring so far. 36 runs in the tournament thus far. Oh, huge hit here, Rishi Ramesh. Oh my goodness. It was full, it was in the slot, but he drilled it wide of long on, probably toward cow corner. That ball was maybe on the leg stump line and in the slot, and absolutely drilled by Rishi Ramesh. That is the first 6 of the day, and that is a good looking strike by the captain. Bit of a delay while that ball comes back, and in fact that is the end of the over. Good productive over, 9 runs coming from it. At the end of 6, the end of the power play, the score is 39 for 2. For 2, this partnership between Sid Saladi and Rishi Ramesh now worth 35 runs. captain and vice captain have steadied the ship, and you get the sense that all of the momentum that was built from the Katy Raiders taking those 2 quick wickets has somewhat been dissipated, because this partnership, again, in the context of this game where you were on the back foot, 4 for 2, but this pair with a steady approach, first not taking any risks and then taking advantage of any scoring opportunities, I think have put themselves in the position where if it's not, fully to the point where they're in control of the game, they're at least more in tune to the conditions, and hopefully from their standpoint to be able to push on from there. Change in bowling as this is Sharia Gaur taking up the attack. We're outside of the power play now, so this field is a lot more spread. There's now a long on and long off, a deep mid wicket, and a sweeper. Let's call him deep point. So those 4 are outside the circle. You can have as many as 4 outside the circle at this point. In fact, you can have as many as 5 outside the circle. A bit of wind, maybe just coming from the southwest. So if Rishi Ramesh elevates this ball in the air toward extra cover, the ball will be helped by the wind. Full and drill down the ground. Aaron Nadkarni in position to clean that one up. So the wind completely has switched position or switched directions from yesterday. Yesterday it was blowing in from the north, definitely switching directions now and coming from the south. So again, from the direction that the batter is facing right now, if he elevates the ball in the air, it will be helped by the wind. This is a slash outside off, no contact made. Sid Saladi, who's now on strike, 13 from 15 with 2 fours. Rishi Ramesh, the captain, 19 with a strike rate of 100, 19 balls faced, 2 fours and a 6. These two have weathered the storm thus far. And again, just looks like things are getting a little bit easier for them right now. This is played down to the deep. Arnad Carney coming back for the second run. Throw coming to the keeper's end, but easy too. Partnership building. They're growing with confidence. Partnership now worth 39. So just in terms of this tournament, it's a 2-weekend tournament. Played this weekend, and then the following weekend, next weekend, is going to be the continuation of this tournament. So join us if you can. Lofted over the top of extra cover, but again, there's a fielder out there. And in the deep, coming back for a second. 6 runs already from the over with 1 ball remaining. So the scoring is essentially picking up. Look at this. The overall scoring rate is now 6.59. 6.59 projects as of this point to a score of 132. So let's just keep an eye on that and see how well they can progress toward that type of total. Quick single here, and the idea is if you score off of the good balls and then cash in on the bad balls, it essentially solidifies the innings. 7 runs coming from that over. The partnership is now worth 42. At the end of 7, the score is 46 for 2. Aditya Ipan continuing. Oh, leading edge carried in the air, not quite all the way to mid-off. Cincinnati might consider himself lucky there. That one didn't carry all the way in the direction of that fielder at mid-off. I think he was trying to play that one a little bit straighter. That leading edge spooning in the air, but again, for him, luckily it doesn't carry all the way to that fielder. So Rishi Ramesh now back on strike. Each of them now on 19. Oh, what a great delivery. Cut him in half, angled in toward leg stump, and then pitching and leaving him straightening. And that actually bounced over the top of middle stump. That is a great delivery by Aditya Ipan. He'll be very proud of that one. Let's see if he can repeat that same type of delivery. Not an easy one to bowl. This is defended into the covers. Sohan Matam, the fielder who was prowling but not able to prevent a single. And the partnership continues to build. They're growing in confidence. And I think they're doing enough to where they might feel that things have switched around enough for them to sort of take control of this game. In the air, over the top of mid-off, that's going to run away for 4. Nobody out there. In fact, Cincinnati taking a couple of steps down and lofting that one. Once it cleared at mid-off, not going to be anything preventing that one from running away to the boundary for 4. Hit it into the wind, but again, fair enough that it was the fielder in that area. The ball was well clear of him, and once it got that much clear of him, then once again, no issues with that ball running away down the boundary. Now a switch here, because interestingly, you'll see that the keeper, Captain Arya Kanantha, has called for the helmets. He's now standing up to the pace bowler to dissuade Titsalada from using his feet to dance down the track like he just did. Full driven to mid-on, no run. It's a good tactical move, I think, for Mr. Kanantha, because what you're trying to do is just to keep the pace or keep the batter from dancing down the track. And when you do that, essentially puts you in the position of being able to maintain some control over the bowling. This is played to the backward point area. Wanted to steal a single, wasn't there. But a successful over again. 6 coming from that over. And by the way, that brings up the 50 that Boundary did. So at the end of 8, the score is 52 for 2. And with that, 52 for 2, I think we will have our first strategic timeout for the day. So we'll take a short break from here. And we'll be back in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Hello, Brian. Good, how are you? Good.
that you can listen to commentary.
Oh, awesome.
Very much enjoying it.
Thank you.
Strategic timeout is done and dusted. The score is 52-2. Partnership between captain and vice captain, Richard Ramesh and Sid Saladi, now worth 48. The attack being taken up from the forest end of the ground by Shari Agar. 1 over for him so far. 7 runs conceded. But this pair at the wicket is growing in confidence and looking to continue to take the attack to the Katy Raiders. Here's Shari Agar. Solid in defense, Rishi Ramesh. He is now up to 20 from 21 with 2 fours and a 6. 1 6 hit in this match so far. And Shari Agar now bowling with the advantage of being out of the power play, so more protection in the deep, long on, long off, cow corner, sweeper on the offside. Oh, good short delivery, good sharp short delivery. Well fended by Rishi Ramesh, and they pinch a single on top of that, so the partnership now worth 49. Rishi Ramesh now up to 21 from 23 balls faced. So the question now to be asked is, at what point, after having weathered the storm, the outfield is not quite as damp as it was. In fact, feeling it now just here next to me, it's actually not quite fully dry, but certainly much drier than it was earlier. Hammered over the top of extra cover. That's going to go run close to the boundary and get there now. That is a good looking strike. There was some anger in that shot actually by Sid Saladi. He's now up to 27. The partnership now worth north of 50. Partnership now worth 53. So the question I was about to ask, sort of rhetorically, is at what point do you go from a mindset of just steadying the ship and then start thinking about putting a very attacking mindset? Oh, this is going to be 4 more. Oh, this delivery is on the pads, going down the leg side, meat and drinks to any good player, and Sid Saladi takes full advantage of that. Well, the previous ball was outside off and full, drilled over the top of extra cover for 4. This one going down the leg side and just easily picked up and helping himself to Sid Saladi with 4 more runs. He now moves up into the 30s, 31 from 24 with 5 fours. And if I were to continue posing my rhetorical question, at what point do you start looking to steady the ship and now start aggressively looking toward putting a big total on the board? You've steadied the ship more than enough. The run rate is now up above 7.04. And it's a lot drier now, so the conditions for batting are what you'd like to see, because you've gotten yourself into the position where scoring is a little bit more fluid. The opportunity to put runs on the board is there. Both batters are set. The partnership worth 58 runs. And it is at the point where you can start really thinking about, turning the screw, making sure that the momentum changes. And this is played easily into the offside, tumbling save by the fielder in the covers, but still an easy 11 runs coming from that over. Really good over for the Texas Legends. This partnership continues to build and grow in confidence. At the end of 9, the score is 63-2. 63 for 2 after 9. Rishi Ramesh, 22 from 24. 2 4s and a 6. Sid Saladi, 32 from 25 with 5 4s. Partnership again now worth some 59 runs. And they've done the hard work. They've gotten through the tricky period where the scores or the wickets had fallen at the very beginning of this innings. 2 wickets had fallen inside the first 2 overs. And now we have a bit of spin as a new bowler coming from the southern end of the ground. It's going to be some leg spin going down the leg side that's going to be adjudged as a wide. And this is going to be Sumyak Shah. Sumyak Shah, leg spinner, bowling to Rishi Ramesh. Helps himself to 4 easy runs. Oh, that ball was not a good delivery. Going down the leg side, tossed up slowly. The first one went down the leg side and Rishi Ramesh just let it go for a wide. On this occasion, he cashes in. Similar type of delivery, but this one he didn't leave for a wide or to be a wide. He essentially just helped himself to 4 runs. Fine leg is inside the circle. And so you don't want to be too straight as a spinner anyway. Really, any kind of bowler doesn't want to be too straight with fine leg inside the circle. But then you combine that with it being a loopy, slow delivery that is going down the leg side. And those are the types of deliveries that any batter, and especially the US U19 captain, would be able to cash in on. Score now up to 68. And he needs to find this off stump. Oh, this is again down the leg side. Oh my goodness, appeal for a catch. He wanted to go for a similar type of shot. Misses out, but again it goes as a wide. A lot of appeal for a catch, but I think that might have just been an attempt to distract umpire Vivek Raj. I don't think there was any bat on that one. And again, Sumyak Shah is going to have to find the line outside off, because going down the leg side is not, that's a better ball. That's a much, much better ball. That's exactly where he needs to bowl. And this is just tapped to the sweeper on the offside. So partnership growing in confidence. Your 2 delivers into over number 10. Partnership now worth 66 runs. Sid Saladi on strike now, 32 from 25 with 5 4s. Rishi Ramesh, 27 from 26 with 3 4s and a 6. Lofted in the deep, but catchable. And taken. That is a big wicket. It breaks the partnership. So what happens if you are Sumyak Shah? The lesson that you learn is that you keep the ball on the off stump and good things happen. This one tossed up, and playing it off the back foot was Sid Saladi, wanting to go big, but not quite hitting it with enough power. And as I mentioned, the wind has switched directions today. It's coming in from the south. So that ball was hit into the wind. That would have kept it inside the park. And a clean catch taken in the deep. That is the end of a very good partnership. Partnership worth 66 runs, but it is broken because Sid Saladi holds out into deep to mid-on, make that to cow corner. So 3 deliveries remaining in over number 10, and the score is 70 for 3. 70 for 3. Sunyak Shah finding success once he found the right line. Full toss. Is that a no ball? It is a no ball. So trouble here for Sunyak Shah. We talked about the line that he was bowling. This time the problem was the length. It's a full toss that is above waist height. Adjudged no ball by umpire Sagar Bavsar. And so a single. But the bigger issue there is that it's a no ball. And so 1 run gets added to the total. And worst of all, he now has to bowl a free hit delivery to Rishi Ramesh. Rishi Ramesh, 27 from 26, but a very dangerous hitter. And the last thing that you want to do is give a batter like that a free hit. So Sunyak Shah is going to have to bowl a special delivery here. Advancing down the track, lofting it in the deep for 6. Even hitting into the wind, it does not matter. Of course, there's not much risk because it's a free hit. So you'll accept that potential risk all day because there is no downside to playing that shot. At best, it would have been caught. And of course, you still would have been able to run at least a single if it were caught because, again, as a free hit means for the most part, with only a handful of exceptions, you cannot be out. So, an expensive over underway for Sunyak Shah. He has gotten success, but just a little bit of errors in both line and length, and I think that has cost him a little bit. 2 balls to come and 15 runs already on the board in this over. Rishi Ramesh looking to continue cashing in on anything loose. Oh, tell you what, a fair amount of turn there. That was going to be a very straight delivery. Oh, quick throw to the non-striker's end. Ended up being a ball that came back a long way. So Rishi Ramesh looking to loft that over the leg side. Had to adjust his shot, but did enough to still get 2 runs to square leg. So, once again, if you're generating that much turn, I really would want to see him start that ball on off stump. Maybe even on middle and off. But anything that's starting that straight, going down leg, doesn't present a lot of opportunities for you to get a wicket. Better delivery and play it down the ground for a single, even though it was a low full toss. The line is what I think he'll want to replicate from this point on. That is the end of an expensive over, but an over in which a wicket fell. 18 coming from the over. At the end of 10, halfway through the innings, the score is 81 for 3. Halfway through the innings, Aditya Arapan takes the ball, coming now from the forest end, bowling to Rishi Ramesh off the back foot, and he slams it. Oh, goes all the way for 6. I don't know that Aaron Nadkarni picked that one up initially. It was flat. It was certainly traveling all the way for 6, but you get the sense that had he been back on the rope, that he might have been able to catch that maybe at head height. But I think it was just a bit of a misjudgment, and it goes all the way for 6. So the captain continues along his merry way here. Now into the 40s, Rishi Ramesh. 3 4s and 3 6s. first delivery just on short of length and hammering it over long on for 6. So Aditya Pan is going to have to bowl a fuller length here to Rishi Ramesh. Short, slow delivery, gets an under edge and it rolls to short third. Looks like he bowled or tried to bowl a slower bouncer that time. I don't know that that's necessarily the best type of ball to bowl in this situation. Sometimes just that top of off stump type of delivery is what is best called for, because Rishi Ramesh is now well set. 42 from, make that 43 from 31 with 3 4s and 3 6s. So I don't know that you just don't bowl something that is more of a less attacking type of delivery. Just again, something on this, maybe on off stump, short of length, like that type of delivery. Let's pull down to Aaron Nadkarni at long on. So 3 deliveries into over number 11. The scoring rate is picking up significantly. It's now 8.48. At this rate, their score projects to 170. And I would think if they're able to maintain that scoring rate, we'll go through some options in a minute. Slower delivery, well bowled. This scoring rate gets them to 170. In fact, with that dot ball, scoring rate came down just a little bit. So it goes, this scoring rate is now 8.34, gets them to 167. Scoring rate of 9 gets them to 173, meaning 9 and over the rest of the way. 10 and over the rest of the way gets them to 182. Opening the face, running it to short third. Picking up a quick single here. So Rinesh Jayachandran, the new batters, who just got that single, and now Rishi Ramesh, the captain, 43 from 32, 3 4s and 3 6s on strike to face the last ball of over number 11. Went big, missed out on the shot. Attempted stumping, not affected. So Rishi Ramesh had his back foot still inside of the crease. Importantly, though, it's a dot ball. So that is the end of over number 11. Came back relatively well, did Aditya Japan, after conceding a 6 from the first ball, only 3 singles the rest of the way. And at the end of 11, the score is 90 for 3. So more leg spin, different type of leg spin. This will be a flatter from a higher trajectory. This is Sachin Selvakumar. Down the leg side, I'll tell you what, that's going to be 4. That really should have been stopped by short fine leg. But Sachin Selvakumar is a good leg spinner. But again, if it's going to be down the leg side, it's going to present scoring opportunities. And Rishi Ramesh is not somebody who's going to miss out on that type of delivery. Cashing in, sweeping it behind square. Short, fine leg is inside the circle. So all you have to do is beat him and you have 4 runs. 4 bonus runs is how I would phrase that. Short worked into the leg side for, should be a single unless they run hard. Coming back for the second. Throw to the non-strikers and is not going to be in time. So Rishi Ramesh gets to 50. Very good innings by him. Came in, steadied the ship, and now with that double, gets to his half century, and he's looking really, really well set here. Next delivery tossed up. Should be two more. Nope, they decide just for that one at this on this occasion. So Rishi Ramesh, 73 runs in the second match yesterday, now scoring now on 50. And apologies, the wind is picking up and playing a little bit of mischief in our area here. Yet another single into the outfield. And so yeah, our area here, the wind is directly in our faces and it's making a little bit of mincemeat of all of our equipment. So apologies if there is some interruption in what you're hearing. Next delivery coming up now from Sachin Selvakumar. And with this stiff wind, I don't know that he doesn't toss something up and ask Rishi Ramesh to hit into the deep. Now this is a misfield at backward point. It should have been a dot ball. It races across the carpet for 4, and that's not going to make anybody on the other side very happy. In fact, that boundary bringing up the 100. So you're now at 102 with 1 ball to go in over number 12. This is a really, really good fight back. This partnership now worth some 32 runs. And played down the ground here. Should just be 1. No, they're coming back for the second. A really good run in between the wickets. Wait, appeal it for... Oh, he gave him! My goodness. I thought it was good running, but looks like the runner going to the non-striker's end left himself short and adjudged to be out by umpire Vivek Raj. So partnership worth 33, but coming back for that 34th run. And the throw coming in to the non-striker's end leaves him short. So good productive over, but the last ball of that over produces a wicket. That is the end of 12, and the score is 103 for 4. New batter for the Texas Legends is going to be Kartik Raj. Rishi Ramesh standing at the non-strikers end, 55 from 38 with 5 4s and 3 6s. Karthik Dorairaj about to face his first delivery. Plays this off the back foot. They get a quick single to backward point. So Karthik Dorairaj immediately off the mark with that single. And we'll see exactly how Rishi Ramesh handles things from here on out. So he's hitting with the wind from here. That's going to be something to pay attention to. Play to the leg side. On one strong throw. Really good throw. Back to the keeper's end. A bullet arm from the deep, actually. That's a really good piece of fielding. So a couple of singles to start over number 13. Next delivery. Outside off, looks to play it through the offside, not able to make any contact. A dot ball. Scoring rate is now 8.4. So what a fight back here. Short and worked into the offside. Sohan Matam and the fielder and the covers both converging on that one. Just a single. So where you are right now, scoring rate 8.37. 2 delivers remaining in over number 13, so that rate projects to a score of 167. Played down the ground. Aaron Nadkarni still with 2 overs to go for him, so he's going to want to keep himself warm. I think at some point you're going to go back to your big fast bowler. Short delivery. Boo, he got away with that one. Karthik Dorairaj not quite able to get much bat on that. Didn't time it the way he wanted to. And really a short delivery that could have been punished. Ends up just only conceding a single. So 5 runs coming from over number 13. 56 have come from the last 5. And again, a good fight back for the Legends here. End of 13, 108 for 4. Sachin Silva Kumar again. Single? No single. Sohan Matam does enough to dissuade this pair from looking to get a run there. So an important dot ball to start things off in over number 14. And it's going to be interesting to see how they choose to attack from here, because again, the wind has picked up. It is now blowing, I would say, a stiff and constant 10 to 15 miles an hour, but with gusts somewhere around 20. Played off the back foot. Good stop at backward point. That's just going to be a single. So from this end, and the captain, Rishi Ramesh, will know this, he will be hitting into the wind if he elevates the ball. So my sense is that you will see them be a lot more conservative from this end. Plays this down the ground. They may think about 2, settling for 1. However, when the bowling is coming from the northern end and they're hitting towards the south, or hitting from the south with the wind coming from that direction, in other words, the next over that starts, if they elevate the ball, they'll be hitting it with the wind. So again, my sense is that they'll be looking to keep the ball on the ground from this end, and then from the opposite end, when over, for example, over number 15 starts, they'll be hitting with the wind. And they don't need to hit with the wind here because this is guided beautifully behind point. A lovely shot by Rishi Ramesh. 7 coming from that over. But even just playing conservatively alone, you still get 7 runs. And my sense is that starting the next over, so watch out here for overs 15, 17, and 19, because those 3 overs will be overs in which they'll be hitting with the wind, and you'd be planning sort of the way that you approach things from here with that in mind. So, end of 14, make that end of 15, 1-15 for 4. So we're down to the last 36 deliveries, and look out from here. Played square of the wicket. That's going to be a single by Kartik Dwaraj, and Rishi Ramesh, who now has 62 runs against his name, is going to be looking, I would think, to capitalize on the conditions. Quicker, flatter delivery. Is that an outside edge? Not collected cleanly by the keeper. That may have been an edge. I think we want to see what this looks like, but my sense is that that might have been a thick edge that was dropped. Looks again to play this on the offside, not making any contact. So 2 consecutive dot balls. So he's not tempting him. He's not tossing the ball up. He's bowling flat, keeping it, in fact, again, flat and quick. It's pulled into the gap for 4 though. Rishi Ramesh ready for that one. It was almost like a medium pace type of delivery, and it is pushed through. But Rishi Ramesh cashing in and getting this one in the gap between long on and mid wicket for a boundary. He now moves up to 70. I'm sorry, to 66. Plays this one now back to the bowler for no run. And this is good bowling. Darshan Haribabu, by the way, who is now with the ball in hand, who's bowled well under the conditions. Keeping things quiet, not tossing it up, and bowling really an economical over. Despite that, the 4 that was just struck, only 5 runs total coming from the over. So a really good over under the circumstances. At the end of 15, last 5 coming up, it's 119 for 4. Back to some more leg spin. Sachin Selvakumar starts out with a wide going down the leg side. Again, this is, I think, the end from which you might see him tempt the batters, might see him toss one up into the air. That, like he does there. This is played into the offside for a single. That should be the only one that they'll get. But from this end, anything that is in the air will essentially be hit into the wind. So pay attention to how the batters approach things from this point onward. So we're now down to the last 29 deliveries. Looks to cut this one. Gets a thick under edge. They'll steal a single. So a couple of legal deliveries in this over so far. Over number 16, Sachin Selvakumar now into his third over. Good bowling overall so far under the circumstances. 2.2 overs, none for 21. Short, looking to work this away on the offside. Not making contact, but so close to that outside edge. It's a dot ball. Precious dot ball under the circumstances. And look for something loopy coming up. Tossed up again and driven down the ground for a single. Down to your last 26 balls of the innings. The score is 1, 2, 3 for 4. So from here, outside off, and that's going to be wide. In fact, the score is now, the scoreboard is moving around a little on us. So let's wait for the scores to keep up or to catch up. Down the leg side is going to be swept in our direction here. They'll get at least 2. And in fact, that's a good piece of work. It prevents it from going for 4. And they'll come back for the third. And these are buys. So 3 buys. That is a good piece of work in the deep. I think that was Nadish Kanaria with a bit of footwork to stop that ball, maybe 6 inches from the rope. So effectively only saves 1 run, but that's a good piece of effort from him in the deep. Next delivery off the back foot, missing out on the attempted cut. And it goes for a dot. I believe there should just be 1 ball left in the over. And here is that 1 ball. Outside off. Worked into the offside. Sohan Matam, who's there to clean up. And they get a single that closes things out in over number 16. So unofficially, the score is 127 for 4. The scoreboard is having a little bit of trouble keeping up, but we'll get that confirmed at the end of, or before the start of the next over. Unofficially, 127 for 4. Officially now, since the scoreboard is caught up with us, the score is 128 for 4, and it appears that we're having a bit of a break. I thought for a second it might be another strategic timeout. Ends up not being that, just a bit of an extended chat by the Katy Raiders, who want to make sure that they're all on the same page going into the last 4 overs here. In fact, the last 4 overs coming up. So 128. Now the scoreboard is changing again. It is 129 for 4 as of right now. So we'll assume that that is where it will park for the time being. And watch where things go from here. Last 4 overs. It is Karthik Doiraj on strike, 9 from 13. It's going to be Darshan Harbabu, the vice captain, who bowled well. Again, remember he's bowling and asking the batters to hit down the ground with the wind. So he's going to have to be very careful to not give them anything to elevate, particularly not Rishi Ramesh, because if he's able to get under any of these balls, he will hit it in such a way that it might clear us here in the commentary area. So pay attention to that. So I suspect, and they get 2 runs from that first ball, I suspect that he's going to be bowling in such a way that it will be quick and flat. Yep, same thing there. Crashed through the offside in the air for a while. Long run for the sweeper. sliding and is not able to stop it from going over the ropes at deep point. So it does go all the way for 4. Good effort in the deep. He was not able to stop it from getting over there though. Running to his left, tried to make up about 20 yards, made up to 20 yards, but not able to prevent it from going over the ropes. So that is the good piece of work that went in vain. As Karthik Dwararaj continues, 15 from 15. Now this one is down the ground. Arakanantha, who has taken the gloves off and is now in the outfield. And watch what happens from here. Rishi Ramesh is on 71 from 49 with 7 4s and 3 6s. But if he gets something to get under, he will be hitting with the wind. So watch what happens here. Down the ground, doesn't get quite a hold of it, but it does get all the way down. A strong throw, throws to the keeper, and I believe Rishi Ramesh did get back on time, or in time. In fact, that's not Rishi Ramesh. That would have been Karthik Dwararaj, who nevertheless made his ground. So they get 2 runs. 2 balls remaining now in over number 17. And again, Darshan Haribabu is bowling very flat and very quick. And he's not, or is really trying to not allow Rishi Ramesh to get underneath the ball. If he gets underneath it, again, he'd be hitting, elevating with the wind. And you don't want that to happen. So he's glancing around. I don't think it really makes much sense for him to look around, because if it's in his zone, he's going to go for it. Hammers this. Where does that go? All the way for 6. That is exactly what you'd expect to happen. Again, from this end, that is a much more risk-free type of shot. Anything in the air is going to be helped by the wind. Now, he did, I think, the right thing, Darshan Haribabu, trying to bowl it flat to not let Rishi Ramesh get under it and drive it. But in making sure that he wasn't getting the ball to be a drivable ball, he ended up landing it too short, and Rishi Ramesh quick to pounce onto the back foot and elevate that over the leg side. So 15 runs from the over already, 1 ball to come. Watch what happens with this 1 ball, because really there's only 7 more balls in this innings where the batters will be hitting with the wind. So they will have to try to cash in on those 7, the first of which is going to be this last ball of over number 17. There it goes again, working in exactly the way you'd expect him to. Punting it down the ground this time, Rishi Ramesh, and he now gets into the 80s. 80 from 52, 7 4s and 4 6s. That is the end of over number 17, where 16 runs came from it. The score is 145 for 4. $145 for 4. And bearing in mind again that the Texas Legends were batting on 4 for 2. So they've lost 2 wickets and scored 141 runs. So what an absolutely brilliant fight back for them. Going now into the last 3. And this is a new bowler. This is going to be Nadish Kanaria. Should be the son of the coach Danish Kanaria. Leg spinner, tosses this one up, whipping it away for 4. What a shot onto the legs, a little bit too straight, and he helps himself to 4 runs. All of the leg spinners that have bowled from the highway end have started out for the most part just too straight, and that boundary brings up the 149, one away from 150. If you can imagine that they have gone to great lengths to fight back into this game, and I'll tell you that the captain now up to 84 from 53, 8 4s and 4 6s. Do not think that he's not thinking about the next 16 runs that he can score. So Nadesh Kanaria, of course, the son of Danish Kanaria, who is not only the coach of the Katy Raiders, but the former Pakistani international leg spinner. Next delivery, tossed up in the air, catchable, and taken. What a big wicket that is. The captain cannot believe what he has done. I mentioned a number of times now that if you hit in this direction into the air, you'll be hitting into the wind. So that ball would have been held up by the wind. And instead of keeping it on the ground, you know, the previous delivery was straight and he helped himself around the corner to 4 runs. But hitting into the wind from this direction was always going to be perilous. Maybe you don't criticize somebody who just scored 84 runs, but I think if he had to do over again, he'd wait until over number 19 to start hitting big into the air. So that is the end of a really, really good innings by the captain. Rishi Ramesh, 84 from 54 balls faced with 8 4s and 4 6s. But he is caught here by Darshan Haribabu off the bowling of Nadesh Kanaria. Concedes a 4 from the very first ball, but gets his revenge in the very next delivery. And that is the end of the innings, for the captain himself. So now we only have 16 balls remaining in this innings. And a new batter coming to the crease. It's going to be Pranav Batad to now join Kartik Dorairaj. My sense, I've said a number of times already, if you keep it on the ground from this direction and do all the hitting from the other end, that would seem to be the order of the day. So let's see if Pranav Batad can get that message. So the captain is gone. A big partnership is broken. And now 16 balls remaining for the Texas Legends to try to capitalize on really, again, what has been a good fight back so far. Only 1 run away from 150 and still 15 balls to go. So 170 or something along those lines is certainly still possible. Should get 2 here if they run hard. And they're coming back easily. Darshan Haribabu on the boundary at deep mid wicket. But that ball was just tapped. And just maybe a lesson there for young players. You don't always have to hit the cover off the ball to get runs. With a deep mid wicket on the boundary, if you just simply tap it in that direction, an easy 2 is almost always there for the taking. Next delivery coming up now, because we're now down to the last 15 of the over of the innings. Immediately off the mark is Pranav Batad. Next delivery is slower. Played off the back foot. They'll get a single. Oh, that gets right through backward point, and they'll get another couple. That will irritate the captain. That is Aaron Nadkarni at backward point, who really should have just stopped that one, but gets it to go through him, and they get a couple. 8 from the over so far. Good productive over for both teams. 1 because the Raiders have gotten the big wicket of the captain, but a lot of runs so far, and there's going to be more runs here. Played out into the deep, long run for, I believe that's Surya or Sachin Selvakumar out there. They'll get a couple more. So 3 straight doubles, 10 from the over with 1 remaining. Here in over number 18. Down the ground, a big hit, but into the wind and taken. boy, the lesson has to be learned. You cannot hit the ball into the wind from this direction. And it is the last ball of the over. The next ball, you can hit the ball into the wind all you like. But that was not the lesson learned by Pranav Batad. Only succeeding in lofting a pretty simple catch under these conditions with a stiff wind coming in. Again, probably by my estimation, around 20 or so miles an hour. You hit the ball into the wind, it will hold up. That's exactly what happened here. So another wicket from another ball hit into the wind. So maybe less than the most judicious approaches for the Texas Legends going into the back end of this innings. End of over number 18. The score is 155 for 6. .155 for 6. Aaron Nadkarni back into the attack. Down the leg side. This is going to be another wide. It has been an issue for him the entirety of this game. Now, you are going to see, I would think, a short of length type of an attack. I don't think you're going to see anything drivable, because once again, anything that is hit into the air from this end will be absolutely helped by the wind. So Aaron Nadkarni will be aware of that. Aborting his run up here. Figures so far for Aaron Nadkarni: 2 overs, 1 for 15. Got a wicket in his first over. Second delivery that he bowled in the match, actually. And so just maybe remarking his run up. Still has an entire over to bowl here. And of course, this is over 19, so he'll only bowl 3 overs today. It will be 1 over short. Going down the leg side, yet another wide. Free runs and extra balls being donated here to the cause of the Texas Legends by the Katy Raiders. Already 16 extras. Aaron Nadkarni pleading his case to the umpire, but the umpire will have none of it. Umpire Sagar Bavsar. Both umpires have really looked competent in their management of the game, it has to be said, so far today. And now, with 2 free runs added to the total, still looking at the 2 ball or 2 overs remaining. Outside off, a slash and a miss, probably a little bit too, he may be a little, may consider himself lucky to have gotten away with that one with no wide being signaled. Aaron Nadkarni just not finding the right line so far today, not consistently anyway. So, here's the next delivery. That's better. And driven down the ground for a single. That is Arekanantha. Good piece of work. Just a 1 run there. So the only run off the bat so far. 3 runs from the over so far. And seeing where you are at this point requires knowing what the situation is. And what the situation is that you have the last 3 or the last 10 balls in the innings. Looking for the drive. Boy, that ball was full enough for the drive. And by the way, this is Aaron Connolly who is on strike. Missing out on the attempted drive there. Aaron Connolly, who probably is known more as a bowler, and whose mother is marching around this field rather nervously, I would think. And interestingly, they're changing the field. Long off is coming into the circle. So long off is now going to be at mid off, and they're going to be asking him to hit over the top. Oh, he knocked him over. A tentative poke and not able to get any bat on that. And boy, I tell you, he'll be probably disappointed with that one, because that ball was on a length that potentially could have been driven down the ground. But he played a tentative defensive looking shot and not able to get any bat on it. And he has his off stump rattled. So that is wicket number 7. Aaron Nadkarni clean bowling Aaron Connolly. And so that is the 7th wicket down. So the last 9 balls coming up. And it will be the case that the new batter coming to the wicket, Viraj Ejner, will be facing up to Aaron Nadkarni, who again has not necessarily bowled the best line, but is bowling now when it matters, bang on the stumps. And just as I say that, that goes down the leg side. That's going to be extra runs, and 3 extra runs, because it's going to be a wide +2. So there's 3 wides. All bonus runs being donated here. So 5 runs from the 6 in this over have been via the wide route. And still 2 deliveries remaining here in this over number 19. Score now up to 161. Here's the next delivery. Clipped to the leg side. Should be just 1. Nope, they stumble over it. Coming back for the second. A good strong throw and given. Boy. So one of the oldest rules in cricket again, don't run in a misfield. That was a misfield by Nadish Kanaria at square leg. Took on the throw from the deep and hesitated initially, and that strong throw to the keeper's end found Viraj Ejner short. So 1 run to the total. A lot happening on this one official delivery. First there was the 3 wides, then the 1 run, and the run out going for the second. So 162 for 8 is your score, with 7 balls remaining here in in the innings. 1 ball remaining in over number 19. Stiff wind coming from the south is directly in our direction here. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a really tricky end to this match, because 162 for 8, so you don't want to get bowled out, but you do want to try to get as many runs as possible. Let's see what happens here. So the new batter is going to be Arav Soni, facing up to the last ball now bowled from Aaron Nadkarni. On the stumps, defended for no run. That is the end of the spell for Aaron Nadkarni. The over that he bowled, 7 runs came from it, 5 of which were wides, but 2 wickets fall in that over. 1 taken by Aaron Nadkarni himself, and then the other via a run out. And so the last ball coming up now, the last over coming up now, it's going to be Karthik Dorairaj on strike, 17 from 18. And again, it's going to be a tricky end to this over, or to this innings, because you'll be hitting into the wind. You don't want to just throw your wicket away, and effectively if you hit the ball in the air from here, you're throwing your wicket away. But you want to get as many runs as you can. And so let's see exactly how they approach it from here. It's going to be bowled by Nadish Kanaria again. 1 over so far for him. Conceded 10 runs, but took 2 wickets because the Texas Legends kept hitting the ball into the air from this end. So let's see exactly how they can approach things from here. Expect him to toss the ball up. Yep, that's what he does here. This is drilled down the ground. Should just be 2. Coming back for the second. No, it took off late. Throw is a little wayward, so they get 2. I didn't think that they'd be able to get 2 there. With Sachin Selvakumar down at long off. But they were committed to the second run, and as soon as they saw the opportunity, they went for it. And so, 2 runs to start off over number 20. At 2 runs now gets them to 164. So let's see how far they can get the remainder of the way. Tossed up again, slowly toward mid-wicket. Do they want 2? They're coming back for 2. The throw coming into the keeper's end. And 2 more. So successful work getting those doubles, getting all of the runs that you can, and importantly, neither of those 2 deliveries was hit into the air. So let's see if they can continue with that mindset. It's going to be Karthik Dwararaj, who's now up to 9, make that 21 from 20 with a single boundary. Walking across in the air over the top of fine leg. It's running close to the boundary, and it will get there for 4. So that is good work by Karthik Dwararaj to maneuver the bowling in such a way that he walks completely across his stumps, opens up the leg side, and that ball was in the air agonizingly just over the fingertips of that fielder's short fine leg, and running away down the hill for 4. What a productive over. You know, up to 170 runs. This is really good stuff by the Texas Legends. Last 3 balls coming up. And I think the thing about hitting in the air went out the window. Drilling that down the ground for a single. I don't think they'll come back for 2. Yeah, they do come back for 2. The throw coming to the keeper's end. It's going to be given as a wicket. Oh my goodness. So you can't fault him for going for the second, but really it was a suicide mission when they took off for that second run. Yes, anything can happen with 2 balls remaining, but you really would have wanted to have the man who was set and who was doing the most damage at this stage to try to bat through the rest of the innings. Unfortunately, in trying to come back for that second run, Mr. Dwararaj loses his wicket. So it's now 171 for 9. And so 2 balls remaining here in over number 20. 2 balls remaining in the innings. Let's see, the only sort of intrigue left from here is whether or not they'll be bowled out. It would be psychologically, you don't want to get bowled out in a T20, but I don't know that it makes a very big difference in the context of this game, because things have come back enough to the extent that you have put yourself in a position to do really good things here. Parth Gar got the wicket. He's the last man in. And Nadesh Kanaria has 2 balls remaining in over number 20. Worked into the leg side, coming in for a single. Throw to the non-striker's end. 172. So this will be the last ball of the innings to be faced by Arav Soni. Stiff wind coming from the north. Here's the last ball. In the air, wide of long off. This is Sachin Selvakumar. 2 runs closes things out. What an absolutely brilliant fight back for the Legends. 12 runs coming from that over. 174 for 9 is where they end up. What an absolutely brilliant effort. So where we are now, looking at the full scorecard, dominated at the top by the captain Rishi Ramesh, 84 from 54, 8 4s and 4 6s. Helped there by Siddharth Saladi, 32 from 26 with 5 4s. Good contribution also from Karthik Dwararaj, 26 from 22 with 2 4s. Single digit scores the rest of the way. So for the bowlers, Aaron Nadkarni, 2 wickets, 3 overs, 2 for 21. And 1 wicket each for Varan Handa, Sunyak Shah. Break for us here at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. We'll be back for the chase in about 10 minutes. to a windy, breezy Prairie View Cricket Complex. The Katy Raiders are going to attempt to overhaul a score of 175. Arab Soni is the bowler coming in from the highway or the forest end, and he initially sprays one down, back too wide of off stump. Starts off with a wide. Bowling to the opening pair of Arya Kanantha and Sohan Matam. Sohan Matam currently at the non-strikers end. 2 runs already, 2 bonus runs. Talked a lot about bonus runs in the first innings. And Arab Soni starts off here with one that is too wide, and they get an extra run to boot. So no official delivers ball in this match or in this inning so far, but 2 runs already on the board. Left arm pace. Now bowling to Arya Kanantha. Worked off the back foot, fumbled at backward point, but no run. So 175 runs is a relatively stiff chase, particularly when you consider the fact that the Texas Legends were at one stage 4 for 2. They seem to be very wobbly at that stage, but a big partnership from Siddharth Talati and the captain Rishi Ramesh put them in a good position. This is one played into the leg side. They scrambled through for another single, or for a single. That's the first runs off the bat so far. And where you are now, Arab Soni is going to be asked by his captain to just bowl that delivery on off stump and ask the batters to play you from there. And so I think you're going to see where it's the situation that demands positive stroke play without being reckless. That skies to short third, and it is put down. Sohan Matam had one go off of the outside edge and carried to, I believe that's Connolly, down at short third, and he was not able to get down in time to stop that one. So Sohan Matam might consider himself lucky there. He'll get a single, but from his perspective, fortunately, he was not dismissed. So Arab Soni asking a question or two here. Left arm pace bowler. Now bowling to Arya Kanantha. Down the leg side, another wide, another extra ball, another extra run. So you're defending a total that is relatively challenging. But when you do that, you sort of have to put yourself in the mindset of just bowling deliveries that the batters have to score off of. What I mean by that, no extras and no balls down the leg side. He gets away with that. That could easily have been put away for 4 with fine leg inside the circle. Just only conceding a single, but he's going to want to be a little bit more toward off stump. And bearing in mind, this is going to be, they're bowling from the northern end of the ground, the forest end. The batters are hitting into the air, or if they hit into the air, the ball will travel from this end. And I'll tell you what that means in just a second. Big swipe and a miss, and he misses out on the attempted shot, Sohan Matam. So the significance of that is that if it's a close game and comes down to over number 20, with the game still in the balance, over number 20, in theory, the batters would be asked to hit the ball into the wind, because over 20 would be, they'd be batting from the north, hitting toward the south, and the wind is coming, a stiff wind from the south. So in theory, that would be why they chose to bat on that, from that direction. This is lofted into the air, deep backward square leg, and he gets 6. So a little bit straight, but and on the leg side, but I think you cash in on those runs and you accept that gift going down the leg side. 6 runs to the total. That is an expensive first over, 12 coming from it. At the end of 1, the score is 12 without loss. Welcome back to the Prairie View Cricket Complex. We're into over number 2. Aaron Connolly has taken up the attack, bowling from the highway end. I reckon on strike. A couple of dot balls to start with here in over number 2. Good delivery played into the offside. They'll get a single here. Throw to the keeper's end. Sohan Matam makes it home in time. So this is a much better over underway for Aaron Connolly as compared to the first one bowled by Arav Soni. Arav Soni was a little expensive. 12 runs coming from the over. A couple of wides. And then a big 6 to end that over. So 12 runs coming from that first over, but just a single so far halfway through over number 2 for Aaron Connolly. Let's see how well he's able to close out this over here, though, because we're a long way to go, but the more you can deliver some dot balls to make things tricky for the opposition, the better off you will be. From here, played into the offside. Good. Ooh, I almost said good sliding stop, but backward point, not able to field it properly. And they end up getting a couple. Could have just been a dot, potentially. At the most, they should have gotten 1 for that, but the misfield brings them 2 runs. So from here, 160 runs are needed in the next 2 overs and 2 balls. So about 110, I said 2 overs, sorry. 18 overs and 2 balls. So 110 balls remaining, you need 160 runs, needing to score at the rate of 9. Skied, who wants it? Rishi Ramesh is there, he's not going to drop this. Clean catch, and you heard me say a number of times already, you don't want to hit into the wind from this end. Very frankly, for this ball, it didn't make a difference which end you were hitting it from or into, because it was simply a top edge that went in the air for a very long time. Swirled for a while, but again, Rishi Ramesh, one of the better pairs of hands anywhere in the country, and I did not think that he was ever going to drop that one. So a simple catch, well, not simple, a good catch taken by Rishi Ramesh with it in the air with the wind blowing. That is not an easy catch, but it takes it without any fuss whatsoever. The first wicket goes down. Sohan Matam gets the top edge, and he is dismissed courtesy of a good catch by Rishi Ramesh. So that is the end of his day with the bat. The first wicket down. 15 for 1 is the score with 1 ball remaining here in over number 2. So the new batter coming to the crease, taking guard, is Darshan Haribabu. Darshan Haribabu is vice captain, and he is going to be joining his captain, Arya Kanantha, 3 from 6. Darshan Haribabu now going to be facing up to Aaron Connolly. Here is the last ball of over number 2. Very full, goes past the outside edge, half-hearted appeal. Really is less of appeal and more of a shot of excitement as a good delivery to close things out. So good first over bowled by Aaron Connolly. Just 3 runs coming from it and the big wicket of Sohan Matam. So that is the end of over number 2. Score is 15 for 1. So 15 for 1, RF Sony coming in to bowl his second over. Starts with the dot. Starts with 2 dots. This is a much better start for him. Sprayed the ball a little bit in the first inning, in the first over, and was punished on the last ball of his first over by Sohan Matam. But Sohan Matam is back into the pavilion. I reckon Anton Strike pulling this wide of the fielder at mid-wicket, but there's protection in the deep. And I've Batad down there who was able to clean up. And so just a single. Good start to the over. Much, much better start. So again, the first over was a little bit expensive. In fact, it was very expensive. 12 runs came from it. But things have slowed down since then. And currently, Darshan Harbabu now on strike. A flip shot over the top of fine leg. That runs away for 4. Down on one knee intentionally. Scooping it over the top of fine leg. It's a tricky type of a delivery because with the field there was a long on and a deep mid wicket, so you're still inside the power play. So it means that if you're going to keep those long on and mid wicket fielders there, that fine leg has to be inside the circle because you can only have 2 outside the circle. But unfortunately for RF Sony, not able to prevent Darshan Haribabu from helping himself to 4 runs with that scoop. Next delivery, played into the offside, single taken. And so just 1 ball now remaining in here. Over number 3, a good start to the over despite the boundary. 6 runs coming from it, and you're needing to limit them to less than 9 runs and over. From here, the scoring rate required is 8.97. So just to round it off, 9 and over. Currently scoring at the rate of 7, 7.5. So if you keep them around there, then you're good. Oh, over the top of extra cover, that's going to run away for 4. Staying leg side of the ball, opening himself up, clearing the front leg, and just blasting that over the top of extra cover. I reckon Anta helps himself to 4 runs, and that is a boundary to close things out in over number 3. RF Sony's first ball, or the last ball of his first over, went for 6. The last ball of his second over goes for 4. 10 runs coming from the over. At the end of 3, the score is 25 for 1. $25 for 1 after 3. So once again, you're looking to chase 175 runs. To chase 175 from here, you need to score at the rate of 8.82 and over. So the Katy Raiders will keep that in mind. It's going to be Aaron Connolly again bowling from the highway end. Bowling to Darshan Haribabu. Haribabu is on 5 from 3. I reckon on for 8 from 10. Played into the offside. Oh, yes, no. And then the throw to the non-striker's end could potentially have been disastrous. I reckon Anta looking for the single. I don't think a single realistically was there. Finally, cooler heads prevail. And that's just a very loud, exciting dot ball. Aaron Connolly bowling very well. 3 overs, 1 over plus 1 ball. 3 runs conceded. And he has taken a wicket, the lone wicket to fall in the inning so far, and everything has been spot on. Similar type of delivery, similar type of result. This time they don't even attempt to go for the run, so a couple of dot balls. Aaron Connolly's first over. there were only two deliveries in that over where a run scored. So 4 dot balls in 6 is very good, and then already 2 dot balls in this his second over. So being very economical. Bang on target again, 3 consecutive dot balls. In a situation like this, as a bowler, you're simply trying to just keep the batters quiet. You know that they're aggressive. They are a very good batting side. You know that runs are on the board, so what you're trying to do is to keep them from getting off in terms of their abilities to score big. In other words, you're trying to just keep them quiet. If they're going to score big, they're going to have to hit your good balls. Just tell yourself that. Good ball again. This is played into the offside. There's a sweeper on the boundary at deep point, and they'll just get a single. And to the extent that you can sort of keep them at bay, then scoreboard pressure eventually starts to become a factor, because from here you're needing to score at the rate of 9.1 and over. It's not easy. 149 runs needed in the next 98 balls. Here's Conley again. Backward point, dot, no run. And again, they're good enough batting side. They bat probably 6 or 7 deep, so they can score quickly. But the way that you counteract that is by building pressure, and you build pressure by delivering dot balls. So that's exactly what Aaron Conley is doing here. What happens on this last delivery? Cuts this away down to the fielder in the deep at point. 2 runs coming from that over. A brilliant over under any circumstances, particularly inside the power play. That is the end of over number 4, and the score is 27-1. Change in bowling. New bowler coming from the forest end. This is going to be Advait Ayer. Right arm seam bowler. And he's going to be bowling to Arya Kananta. So Arya Kananta would have seen the last over where only 2 runs scored. And he will be thinking it's time to change the conversation. It's time to get things going and have runs scored. And both fielders in the deep or outside the circle are down the ground. So long on and long off, obviously still inside the power play. So those are the only 2 who are allowed to be outside the circle at this stage. Advait Ayer, right arm fast bowler. And the wind has maybe calmed down just a little bit, but still relatively stiff. Slow delivery, and he got him. Oh, he played a week early. A slower delivery. That pressure was building, and he was looking to knock that one toward Austin. Played all over it, and what a beautifully bowled delivery to tickle the middle stump. The second wicket goes down. The captain goes, and that is the end of I think a relatively frustrating innings for Arya Kananta. It almost looked as though he wanted to get things going, maybe jumping a little bit too much at the opportunity to get a big hit where it presented itself, completely fooling him with the slower ball, and he loses again the top of middle. So the second wicket is there, or the second wicket has fallen, and I think you'll see from here where things start getting a little bit nervy for the Katy Raiders. 2 wickets down, 27 for 2, and they're 2 heavy hitters, Sohan Matam and Arakananta. It's a new bowler, a new batter rather, coming to the wicket now. It's going to be Shahriar. And I think you're going to find where it's going to be tricky to sort of get going, because you've lost a couple of wickets and scoreboard pressure is definitely still there, because with the loss of that wicket, you're now looking at a required rate of 9.45. New batter now, Shahriar. Full outside off. He just released some of that pressure with that wide though, so it's going to be so important to stick to all of your disciplines. Your bowling absolutely has to be spot on. Everything has to be on the right line, on the right length. And so you want to make sure that you don't help the opposition to score. It is so important under these circumstances that if you've built pressure, and that pressure has resulted in the taking of a wicket, but it's very easy to release that pressure if you bowl loose deliveries. So something to pay attention to the rest of the way here for Advait Ayer. Here's the next ball. 2 straight. Going down the leg side this time. Yet another wide. So still only 2 legal deliveries bowled in this over. 29 runs are on the board. 5 extras out of 29 runs. So you're scoring a certain, 17% of your runs are being scored in extras. You don't have enough runs to give up those types of extras. This is just down the ground. Single down to Priyadarshan Arvind Kumar. So 3 runs coming from the over so far, but 2 of those 3 are wide. So you're going to have to make sure that they score from the bat. Don't help them score. Played into the offside. Well bowled. That's Rishi Ramesh. At extra cover. So now 2 balls remaining in over number 5. 8 balls remaining inside the power play. And of course, the significance of that is that outside of the power play, you can have as many as 5 outside the circle if you need to. So you can be more defensive if you feel in your field settings if you need to. And I think that's probably what they'll end up doing. Oh, looking for the big hike across the line. That ball doesn't bounce nearly as much as he was expecting. Passes maybe 6 inches or so outside of off stump. And so 1 delivery remaining here in over number 5. This is such a good over so far. 3 runs coming from it. And 2 runs coming from the previous over before that, bowled by Aaron Connolly. So economical bowling toward the back end of this over and towards the start of this innings. It's just going to be up to them to clean up the wides. Missing his run up that time was Advait Ayer. And so now, with 1 ball remaining, 1 legal delivery left, my sense is that there has been some pressure building. So let's see exactly what Darshan Haribabu does here. 6 from 8 with a boundary. Does he look to do something different on this last ball? Once again, missing his run up. Oh my goodness, I see him grasping just for a split second. I thought he was grasping at his right hamstring. I don't think that that's the issue there, because he does appear to be walking normally now. So I think he's just missed his run up a couple of times consecutively. Last ball. Driven down the ground. It should just be a single. Throw coming back into the non-striker's end, and that is the end of a good over bowled by Advait Ayer. 3 runs make that 4 runs coming from it. 2 of those 4 were wides, but a wicket that fell, and that is a really, really good wicket. 31 for 2 at the end of 5. Five overs bowled. Aaron Connolly to continue into his 3rd over. He is bang on target. Every single one of these deliveries. Exactly what the captain needs from the opening fast bowler. Two overs so far. 1 for 5. So essentially now 2.1 overs. 1 for 5. And when you are able to tie down one end, it makes things difficult for the batters. In the air, catchable. Rishi Ramesh is not going to drop this either. There he goes, almost an identical dismissal to the first one where he got rid of Sohan Matam. This time this ball is skied from Darshan Haribabu. Similar leading edge that goes in the air for a really, really high, long distance. Rishi Ramesh not going to drop those. Swirling though it might have been, the wind is blowing in from the south, so that would have been carrying the ball back toward the keeper. But the man who is probably even more likely to catch it than the keeper himself with the gloves on is the captain, Rishi Ramesh. Another clean catch taken, another wicket by Aaron Connolly. He's doing the majority of the damage. In fact, he's done all of the damage with the ball so far in terms of having taken the 2 wickets and building pressure. So 2 wickets are down, and the score make that 3 wickets are down. And the score is 31 for 3. So apologies, I may have just said that Aaron Connolly has taken the only 2 wickets to fall. There are actually 3 wickets down because from the last over, Advait Ayer was the one who bowled that brilliant slow ball to dismiss the captain, Arikananta. This time the vice captain goes Darshan Haribabu. A ball that skies, stays in the air for a week and a half, but eventually the catch taken by the captain, Rishi Ramesh. The new batter is going to be Surya Sachin's brother is probably somewhere else in this facility as of right now. It's Sachin who is on strike, leg spinning all-rounder, coming in at 3 down, and he's going to have to steady the ship here. And this is a good spell on the way by Aaron Connolly. My goodness, 2 balls bowled already in his 3rd over. He's already taken 2 wickets and only conceded 5 runs. No run there. Continuing bang on target. Everything is on an off stump line at a perfect length where the batter can neither come forward nor back. That's exactly what you're trying to do to build pressure. And when you're able to do that, then you put yourself in the position of seeing that asking rate go up. The asking rate is now 9.93. Remember, it was 8 a couple of overs ago. It's now approaching 10. And this is exactly how you build pressure. Single here to mid-off. So Sachin is off the mark. Now, question to be asked. Sachin Selvakumar, 1 from 2. Shariagar, 1 from 1. So both batters are just now getting started. At what point do you back yourself to start attacking and seriously going after the runs? Because that's not going to be easy. Asking rate is almost 10 at this point. Next delivery, very full, defended into the offside, no run there. And with that dot, the asking rate is now above 10, 10.09. You need another 143 runs. You need to score them in 85 balls. So things, no question, are going to be more difficult from here. So as a batting pair, you need to sort of get settled, but you also don't have a whole lot of time to get settled, because at some point you're going to have to start going after these runs. Play it into the offside, yet another dot ball. What a brilliant over. This one from Aaron Conley only costs 1 run, believe it or not, and he took a wicket in that over. So his figures so far, 3 overs, no maidens, 2 for 6. Brilliant bowling. And at the end of the power play, the score is 32 for 3. Two for 3. Advent Iyer to continue. Full outside off. Peeled off the outside edge by Sachin Selvakumar. Ooh, fumbling the ball is Conley a short third, but doesn't cost him anything. I believe that had Surya, I keep saying Surya is Sachin's brother. If Sachin Selvakumar had left that ball alone, he may well have gotten a wide. Advait a year again. So we're outside of the power play now, much more defensive field. I'll describe it in a second. That's a dot. So outside of the power play, there's a sweeper deep on the offside. There's a long on and long off. There's a cow corner, and there's a deep mid wicket. So those are your 5 outside. Inside the circle, short fine leg. Captain Rishi Ramesh at extra cover, and then there's a fielder at cover and a fielder at point. So with that, there's going to be a much more defensive setup here. And boy, I tell you, Advait Iyer has backed out of his run-up a number of times now, but I suspect that it might be because he's running into the wind to bowl. And this wind is really, really picking up. It's really stiff. And number one, it's difficult for a bowler who's running into the wind to bowl. Number two, the bails keep getting blown off. So the wind being a little bit more disruptive than you'd like. With today's action, full, driven down the ground. No, in fact, driven to extra cover. Doesn't beat Captain Rishi Ramesh at short extra cover, so another dot. The last 5 overs have only yielded 18 runs, to include the over that we're in right now. So the scoring has absolutely dried up. The first over of the innings went for 12. The third over of the innings went for 10. But aside from that, not a lot is going on. This is drilled down the ground right in our direction here, but thankfully fielded by long off and prevents me from having to do any fielding today. 2 balls remaining here in over number 7. 34 runs on the board. Another 141 needed in the next 80. That asking rate now over 10.5, up to 10.58. Pressure is building, and this pair is taking a while to get going. Shahriar 1 from 5. Sachin Selvakumar 2 from 3. Make that 2 from 4, as that is a dot, and 1 ball remaining here in over number 7. And if you did not think that scoreboard pressure was going to be part of this game, then you might be mistaken, because it is now the case that every time there's a dot or every time there's a single, that required rate goes up to 10.71 at this stage. Flash and a miss. How far to the peel? Did he give him? Nope, not given. But either way, it is a dot, an expensive, maybe not expensive, is not the right word. Expensive only in the sense that you're costing your team a lot by having a lot of dot balls bowled at you. Only 2 runs coming from that over. 19 have come from the last 5. That scoring rate is similar to what you'd expect in a test match instead of a match where you're needing another 141 runs in 7 to 8 balls. That is the end of over number 7. The score is 34 for 3. For 3, Katy Raiders are in trouble here, and it's not going to get any easier because now Pranav Battad, who is an excellent spinner, is going to be bowling with the wind behind him. Oh, outside the edge, just running down the hill for 4. Not necessarily where it was meant to be played by Shahriar, but he'll definitely accept that that was a thick edge. Had there been a slip fielder there, he would have swallowed that up probably waist height. But this is not a situation that demands slip fielders. This is a situation that demands a defensive mindset. And as of right now, Pranav Battad with that first delivery finds the outside edge, concedes 4 runs. But I think the more important thing here is that he is bowling from the end where he's going to be asking. And look at this. This is closing the gate after the horse has gone through, because there is now a slip fielder at first slip. Similar type of delivery to that last one would bring a wicket at this stage. So maybe just going on the attack. Oh, look at this. Outside edge found. I think that is a drop. The keeper not able to collect it, bobbled it, and maybe on the ricochet not quite able to corral it. Keeper is going to be Karthik Narayaj. Good delivery again, goes past the outside edge again, and no. What an exciting start to this over number 8, because 3 straight deliveries going past the outside edge. 1 kissed the edge and went for 4. The other kissed the edge and was dropped. This one beats the edge. Played back to the bowler himself now for a dot. What an interesting passage of play this is, because Pranav Battad is going to be one of the more threatening bowlers that you'll see, particularly under these conditions. Works this off the back foot, just going to be a single down to deep point. And the good, in fact, no, I said a single. They actually ran 2 on that, so my apologies. But now just 1 ball remaining in over number 8. This is getting progressively more difficult, because now another 135 runs are needed in 73 balls. So you're needing to score at the rate of 11.1 runs and over. Just a bit of a delay. I think he may have just hurt himself sliding back in to complete that second run, Sharigar. And now, with one ball remaining, you're essentially looking at a situation where the last 5 overs have yielded 15 runs. You're scoring at 3 and over. And again, outside of the first over going for 12 and the third over going for 10, the other 6 overs have gone for 18 runs. And so you're struggling to score now, and you're absolutely needing to, because you're getting further and further behind. Pranav Battad bowling another delivery that is just defended into the leg side for a single. 7 runs coming from the over. The asking rate is now up to 11.17. After 8, the score is 41 for 3.
My wife said she can hear them. My wife said she can hear them. And when we went last week at the fair. That's my son up here.
Yeah, got it.
Can I sit there?
Yeah.
I could meet him. I'll be meeting him in 2 weeks. I'm on practice Friday.
Things are getting more and more difficult for the Katy Raiders. They are 41 for 3, and this is really good, tight, disciplined bowling from the Texas Legends. Advait Tahir to continue. Now bowling to Sharigar. Full, drill down the ground for 4. That is a brilliant strike. That releases some of the pressure. It was in the slot and absolutely hammered back down the ground for 4. So that is the first bit of aggression that you see from Sharigar. Well, if it's in the slot, you sort of expect that what happens will happen, because this pair, after having been there for a while, Sharigar has faced 13 balls, Sachin Selvakumar has faced 5. But it is the fact that they've been there for long enough to know what the situation is and how they need to approach things from here, and especially from this end in the air. And that's going to be 4 more. Oh, yep, sliding attempt by the fielder running around from deep extra cover, but he's not able to get to it. So a couple of boundaries to start over number 9. I think Sharigar has gotten the message that it is time to make hay while the sun shines and frankly while the wind blows, because again, he's hitting from the direction where the wind will help the ball when you're trying to hit big. So anything elevated in the air or anything down the ground will be helped by the wind. Evidence of it in these first 2 balls, even though in full disclosure, both of those would have been 4, whether or not they were hit from the bottom end or the top end. But 8 runs from the first 2 is a great way to start. Here's Advait Tahir again. Lets this one go by outside off stump. Precious dot ball. And so from the standpoint of the Katy Raiders, what you're trying to do now is that you're just trying to keep the scoreboard ticking. You need 126 more runs in the next 6 to 9 balls at the rate of just under 11 and over. You're almost at the point where you need 2 runs off every ball. So the idea is not necessarily to be reckless, but to keep the scoreboard ticking. Slower delivery down the ground, just a single. So if you're looking at where you are now, 9 runs already from this over. You're into the 9th over. You are now 125 runs short of victory. And you're well behind the pace of the Texas Legends, considering where they were at a similar stage. I'll get into that in a second. Down the ground again, almost takes out his non-striker, takes out his partner. So at this stage, you're now at 51 runs. 50 is up in this over. At this stage, the Texas Legends had 63 runs on the board. And so that was in the middle of the big partnership between captain and vice captain, Sirat Saladi and Rishi Ramesh. And so you're going to have to make up for that. You're 12 runs behind the pace now. You've lost 3 wickets, but this pair again has been there for long enough to where you would think that they can start going to attempt to overhaul this total. It's not going to be easy, but I think it starts with them realizing that they need to start going for it now. Down the ground again for just another single. And a productive over, the most productive over in a long time. 11 runs coming from it. At the end of over number 9, the score is 52 for 3. And with that, we have a strategic timeout. Another break coming up here in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll be right back. Welcome back to a very windy Prairie View Cricket Complex. The wind will help Pranav Batad as he bowls his second over now. And he will definitely be tossing this ball up, because anything from this direction that is hit into the air will essentially go vertical and then stop. This is going to be difficult from here. Looking to work this one away on the offside. Oh, run out opportunity, a direct hit, and he's gone. Look at that piece of work. Richard Ramesh has already taken 2 catches, and on this occasion, with taking off, I think that was that's Sachin Selvakumar taking off relatively late, heading to the danger end, and Richard Ramesh just underhanded throw. Sachin Selvakumar not even bothering to slide the bat, because he would have missed by, I would say he was short by maybe 2 or 3 yards. So that is wicket number 4. And all of a sudden things are becoming desperate for the Katy Raiders, because the Texas Legends, with a really disciplined bowling attack and really on top of their disciplines, everything is spot on. Not many extras, only 5 extras total, and most of those extras came within the first couple of overs. So with the dismissal now of Sachin Selvakumar, it means that Sharigar, who is on 20 from 18 with 3 fours, will have to be helped tremendously by the new batter. Sharigar is now the one on strike. New batters at the non-strikers end. We'll get exactly who that is in just a minute, but the bigger picture here is that you're struggling to score runs. You're now going to be asked to hit into the wind, tossed up, played right back to the bowler himself. Pressure continues to build, and it's not going to be easy from here, because again, played into the offside now. It's going to be 1. There's a sweeper out there to protect anything from going all the way to the boundary. So 2 balls remaining here in over number 10. But asking rate close to 12. Tossed up, played again square on the offside for a single. By the way, the non-striker, who is now the striker, in fact that was V.S. Sriman who just got that single, so he's off the mark. And it's going to be Sharigar, who is on strike now, 21 from 20. Pushed through a little bit more quickly, passes the outside edge. In fact, he doesn't play a shot, just watches this one go through. Maybe they have decided that now, with them being at the halfway stage, now's the time to start going big. Halfway stage, you need another 120 runs in the next 10 overs. So your asking rate is exactly 12 and over. 2 runs off of every ball the rest of the way if you want to win this game, the Katy Raiders. We'll be right back. The new bowler, Viraj Ejner, leg spin. That was a googly, good start. Now this is an interesting matchup, because again, from this end, if you hit the ball in the air, it will be helped by the wind. So it's a bit of a roll of the dice to bring the leg spinner on from this end. Tossed up, and this is played into the extra cover area for a dot. So a couple of dots to start with here. Obviously, in these conditions, if you have a dot ball, it makes the required rate jump. In fact, from here, everything less than a 3 makes the required rate go up. Played into the offside. This is Rishi Ramesh again. Boy, things are getting from bad to worse here for the Katy Raiders. So 3 consecutive dot balls to start over number 11. That asking rate, we'll keep talking about it, is now up to 12.6. Their actual rate is 5.24, so they're nowhere near from that standpoint. And they absolutely have a lot of work to do here. Shahriar Gar has been there for 21 deliveries. He's scoring at the rate of 21. Oh, he has scoring at the rate of 100, strike rate of 100. He has 21 from those 21 balls faced. This wind is really picked up. So if you are VS streamer and you have to try to get something in the air here, because you're really falling behind as of this stage. If there's anything tossed up, you have to tell yourself you have to go for it. Tossed up in the air into the covers for no run. Oh my goodness. Bearing in mind, this is the end from which you need to score big. 2 balls remaining here in over number 11. And the job continues to get harder for the Katy Raiders. Staying low this time. 5 straight dot balls in over number 11. 1 ball to come. Needless to say, this is starting to look exceptionally difficult. And Viraj Edgner not giving anything to VS Sriman to hit. There's a bit of a delay again. The wind picking up and it is blowing the bales off of the stumps. Here's the last ball. In the air, and this is going to be catchable. Simple catch taken, a wicket maiden for over number 11. The ball was not quite there to be hit, and he walked across to the offside, attempting to hit it on the leg side, but not making clean contact. But very honestly, you can't imagine that he could have done much differently, because at this stage, you have to try to capitalize on the conditions, and you're not going to have very many chances to hit from this end. The chances to hit from this end would have been overs 11, 13, 15, and 17. Over number 11, you're not able to hit big. You end up losing a wicket. So you're running out of opportunities here if you're the Raiders. 55 for 5 after 11. Well, if things were difficult before, they're not quite impossible, but perilously close to that right now. 55 for 5, the Katy Raiders need to score at the rate of over 13 and over from here if they need to win, if they're going to win. They need 120 runs in the next 54 balls, and it is absolutely not going to be easy. The batters are going to be Krish Panchal and Shahriar Gar. And much relies on the shoulders of Shari Agar from here. He's been there now for 21 deliveries. Has 21 runs, but he needs to more than double his current strike rate to be able to get the runs needed. This is Rishi Ramesh taking the ball and immediately wrapping the pads of Sharigar. Umpire Vivek Raj says not out. But 7 straight dot balls to start the second half of this innings. And Rishi Ramesh to continue. A lot of turn. It's played into the offside. Maybe wants to bowl just a little fuller than that because, again, from this end, you don't mind if the other team or if the batters hit the ball into the air because the wind will act essentially as a buffer toward any big hitting. It's now Krish Panchal to be on strike. Sharigar now 22 from 23. Krish Panchal taking strike for the first time. Here's Rishi Ramesh, though, down the leg side. Half-hearted appeal. I think Rishi Ramesh knew, even though he's getting a lot of turn, but from that angle, I believe that the ball is pitching outside of leg. He's getting it to turn and come back towards the stumps, but if it pitches outside leg, then nothing else matters in terms of LBW. It's by definition not out. A bit of change in the field now as short third going a little finer. Looking to sweep it around the corner, maybe just a touch too straight, but that underedge does no damage. So here comes the next delivery. 3 deliveries in, and only 56 runs on the board. The noose continuing to tighten. The asking rate now exactly 14. Low full toss, hit into the mid-wicket area. They'll just jog for 1 because that's all they'll get. And when you are looking at a scoreboard that requires you to score 118 runs in the next 50 balls, that gives you a sense of how difficult this ask is. And needless to say, in addition to that, you're going to have to bat half of those overs from the end where you'll be hitting into the wind. Tossed up, looking to dab this one behind point. Ends up not making contact, but a good close to the end or to the over. Over number 12 ends with a dot. 2 runs, if you can believe it, coming from over number 12. A wicket maiden before that. Over 10, 3 runs scored. So for the last 3 overs, in an environment where you're chasing over 14 runs and over, the last 3 overs have cost, they've only scored 5 runs. Runs absolutely at a premium here. 12 up, 57 for 5. .57 for 5 after 12. Raj Edner with the ball in hand. Bowling 2. Sharigar now just not able to get that one clear. In fact, they do get a single, so they'll accept that single, but plenty depends on whether or not, okay, I'm sorry, that was not a single, that was a dot. So next delivery, staying a little bit low. Rishi Ramesh right in the area to be able to prevent that one from getting through. So 8 deliveries bowled by Viraj Ejner already. No one has scored, not laid a finger on him. Asking rate north of 15 now. Tossed up, and that's the first run off of Viraj Ejner. Entirely too little. Not quite sure if it's too late yet, but it will not be easy from here. Krish Panchal 1, make that 2 from 6. Sharigar 22 from 24. You're needing another 117 runs in the next 45 balls. Here's Edgener again. In the air, that's going to go for 6. That is a good strike. They need plenty more of that. And again, this is the end from which you want to try those shots. Wind, a consistent 10 to 15 miles an hour, but gusting as much as 30 by my unofficial estimation. And that 6 breaks the shackles to some extent. You need plenty more of those. You still need another 111 runs in the next 44 balls. So in the first innings, when Darshan Haribabu was bowling from this end, he was bowling quick and flat. If you toss it up from this end, my sense is that the batters will absolutely want to elevate it. Goes flat now. This time that's more along the lines of what I would have expected for a spinner bowling from this end with the wind at the back of the batters. So a single down the ground, still only 8 runs from the over so far. And this is the last ball of over 13 to be bowled. Once again, the overs that will be bowled from the end that requires the hitters to hit into the wind are overs 14, 16, 18, and 20. So you don't have very many opportunities for them to hit big. Here is the next ball. Oh, wrapped on the pad, going down the leg clearly, and trickling to short third where they'll get a leg by. A productive over, the first in a while for the Katy Raiders. 9 runs coming from it, but that 9 runs is still some 6 or so runs per over short of the rate at which they need to score to win this game. 13 up, 66 for 5. And once again, at the end of that over, it appears as though a strategic timeout is on the cards. We're going silent for the next 2 hours, 30 minutes. 2 hours, 30 minutes. The next 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll be right back. Last 7 overs coming up. Rishi Ramesh, the captain, with the ball in hand, bowling now from the highway end with the wind at his back. In the air, just going to go wide of the fielder at backward point for a single. Needless to say, singles will not be good enough from here. It bears repeating that when you're chasing a score that requires you to score at the rate of 15.8 and over, every dot ball makes the required rate go up, every single makes the required rate go up, every double makes the required rate go up. You need 4s and 6s from here. Down the leg side, that's going to be one of the 4s. One bounce and it goes all the way for 4. So that helps you. And the wind coming in from the south. So anything in the air in this direction is going to be helped by the wind. And of course, with short, fine leg inside the circle, it is always going to be easy to score from there. So Rishi Ramesh, bowling from the end with the wind at his back, needs to be inducing the batters to hit down the ground. So that would imply to me that he bowls a fuller length, and he bowls maybe even with some flight to try to induce the batters to go down the ground. From here, Katy Raiders need to score at the rate of 15.6 and over to win. It is not by any means going to be easy, but you also don't want to give them the chance to think that they may still be in the game. That's more what you'd expect. In the air for a while off the outside edge, running away down the hill. Good sliding stop by the fielder running across from backward point. But that's the type of delivery that I'm expecting for Rishi Ramesh to bowl from that end, where you're asking the batters to hit down the ground. Now, he's bowling good solid leg spin, so he gets some turn there, so that's why the ball went square of the wicket. But what you're trying to do is getting them to hit down the ground. Slapped square, running out toward deep extra cover. Should be a couple more. Might have just had a thought about a third, but end up deciding against it. So you're now to the point where you're running out of balls. 38 balls remaining, exactly 100 runs needed. In the air in this direction, long run for short, fine leg. He's not going to get there. And for the first time again in 24 hours, I've had to field the ball. This one came straight to me. 4 runs again. You try to be a little bit enterprising, Shahrigar. So he walks across and works it behind him. Short, fine leg. Long sprint, not able to get there in time. So this is, again, about the most productive over that they've had in a while. And for me, again, at the risk of repeating myself, these balls need to be bowled in such a way that entices the batters to play down the ground. Play it square of the wicket this time. Should be just one. And that is the one that completes the most expensive over from the standpoint of the Legends, the most productive over from the standpoint of the Katy Raiders. 14 coming from it. 14 up, 84-5. Last 6 overs, 95 runs needed. They will be hitting now, Krish Panchal hitting into the wind, or with the wind at his back. So this presents an opportunity for them to score. Playing it square, no run. Boy, if you're going to take on this bowling, this really does have to be the end from which you do it. And from here, you're looking at 16 runs and over to win. So you're not going to gain much by being defensive at this stage. 1 run down the ground. So that does bring Shariagar back on strike. 42 from 32, 5 fours and a 6. That 6 was hit in the last over that he faced from this end. There it is in the air. Didn't get much of it though. Clean catch taken by Rishi Ramesh. About 2 yards inside the rope. And even with the benefit of the wind, that does not help the case. Shariagar dismissed. 43 from 33. Oh, my apologies. That might have been Krish Panchal who was dismissed. 3 from 8. Shariagar is the non-striker. But either way, the partnership is broken. 81 for 6 is now the score. And it does mean that a hill that was difficult to climb before is now just about, if not actually mathematically, then practically insurmountable. New batter coming to the wicket. Krish Panchal has been dismissed. And a new batter, I'm going to name of that new batter very shortly, but he does have a hill to climb. Now I would think, Aaron Nadkarni, okay? Aaron Nadkarni coming to the wicket. And he's going to be asked, I would think, he's a big hitter. He's a big, strong young man. So, in theory, you could say, look, swing for the fences. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if you're going to score big, it has to be from this end. And it will be interesting to see whether or not Viraj Edgener tosses anything up to Aaron Nadkarni. Big swipe and a miss. How did that miss? My goodness. Just maybe bounced over the top of off stump. 2 balls to go here in over number 15. I would think that the only thing on Aaron Nadkarni's mind is to hit big down the ground. And that stiff wind wreaking havoc again. When you're running in to bowl from this end, you're running into the wind. And so that does make things very difficult for you as a bowler. Okay, not going for the big shot this time. Just stroking it down the ground. Pranav Batad at long off, making sure that the damage is limited to 1 run. 2 runs from the over so far. 1 ball remaining. And now you need 18 runs and over. You need 3 runs off of every ball the rest of the way to win. With 4 wickets in hand. This is just going to be 1. So it is not often that you get to the point in a match where dot balls, singles, 2s and 3s all make the asking rate go up. So from here, the only thing that makes you win is 4s and 6s. End of 15, 83 for 6. Made it 3 for 6. Back into the attack. is Pranav Batad. 2 overs, none for 10. He's bowling to Sharagar, 44 from 34 with 5 fours and a 6. Oh, run off outside the edge, down the hill for 4. You'll take all of these runs that you can get. And these 4 absolutely help your cause. And Sharagar now up to 48 from 36 with those 6 fours and a 6. Asking rate north of 18, so essentially what just happened, you need a whole lot more of that to happen. So here we go. .87 for 6. Wind picking up. Tossed up. Tries to work this one over his shoulder again. I think he's acknowledging the fact that with short third and fine leg inside the circle, anything that helps the ball in this direction is what you want. But very ungainly attempt to get some runs there, Sharigar. Tries it again, goes in this direction, diving attempt by short, fine, cannot get it, goes all the way to the boundary for 4, and that is 50 for Sharigar. 52 from 37 with 7 fours and a 6. Need plenty more of that where that came from. I think this is recognition of the fact that the only way that they can win is by scoring from this end behind the wicket. And so fine leg moves finer, and in fact now he's dropping back to the rope. So that's going to dissuade that scoop shot from Sharigar. 2 balls remaining here in over number 16. 84 runs needed in the next 26 balls. Almost 20 and over. It's probably time to stop talking about the number of runs per over. Worked away to square legs should just be a couple. They get there pretty simply in the end. And Aaron Nadkarni, who is currently at the non-striker's end, knows that I would assume hitting from the opposite end, which is where they'll be bowling from after this ball, maybe your best chance of, if not threatening to get back in the game, at least making it look respectable. Quicker down the leg side, that's going to be wide. That doesn't help, and they run a runner also. So that's 2 additional runs and an extra ball to be bowled here. So 12 from the over so far, another productive over. They need way more productive overs than this, but that at least helps you. And now with Aaron Nadkarni on strike, the field changes because they move short fine leg back inside the circle. Deep or short third is already inside the circle. Everyone is expecting for Aaron Nadkarni to hit big down the ground. And again, that would be into the wind. So let's see how well he does here. Oh, looks to run this off the face. Not making any contact. 12 runs coming from the over. Overall scoring rate required now is exactly 20 and over. We need 80 runs in the next 4 overs. And a steep hill to climb again, just got steeper. 94 for 6. 95 for 6. Rishi Ramesh now bowling from the danger end, if you will. Anything down the ground here will be helped by the wind. Tossed up and went big, and what a great piece of fielding by the bowler himself off of his own bowling. Rishi Ramesh so far 2 overs, none for 16. And he's generated a fair amount of turn. At least those overs were from the other end. Let's see how well he does from this, the forest end. Quicker, and it is pulled into the deep. Long on is there to prevent anything other than just a single. The bowlers have really done well, despite a few big overs here and there from the Katy Raiders. For the most part, the bowling has been exactly what it's needed to be. Played into the extra cover area, no run there. Sharagar 55 from 41 with 7 fours and a 6. He's now back on strike. And I would think he'd be looking big here. That's going to be too wide. I mentioned that Rishi Ramesh had been getting a lot of turn. You can see evidence of that there. Leg spinner bowling from over the wicket and getting that ball to leave the right-handers, but that one leaving a little bit too far outside off for the liking of umpire Sagar Bafsar. Still 3 balls remaining here in over number 17. In the air. Does it get there? A clean catch taken by Pranav Battad, and yet another wicket falls. And things are getting more and more difficult. In fact, more and more trending toward the impossible, because that was Sharagar who was just dismissed. He had 55 runs against his name with 7 fours and a 6, and maybe the 2% chance that they would have won would have had to include him batting through the end and losing his mind, going crazy and hitting a bunch of 4s and 6s. That's not going to happen. He's dismissed here. 2 balls remaining now in over number 17. 7 to 8 runs are needed. You still have another. In fact, scorecard may be incorrect here, but the new batter is coming. And let's just say the short version of the story is that you need a 4 from every ball the rest of the way. And if that doesn't happen, essentially you don't win the game. So this may be the last time that it's even worth talking about the scoring rate, or the required scoring rate. The new batter now at the crease. Rishi Ramesh in. Tossed up. Hammer to right. Back to the bowler himself. They want 2. He deflected it, and that may have just hurt Rishi Ramesh just a little bit. You see him reacting from that ball, having hit him on the hand. And 1 ball remaining now in the 17th. Rishi Ramesh bowling a really good spell. 2.5 overs now, 1 for 20. And with that 1 for 20, last 2 have been from this end, the danger end. Quicker outside the line of off, too far outside the line of off. He'll have to re-bowl that. 5 from the over so far, and a wicket. That wide, by the way, bringing up the 100. Down the ground, they say 2. I don't think realistically they can get there. That is the end of over number 17. 6 runs coming from that over. And at the end of 17, the score is 101 for 7. Pranav Batad with ball in hand, about to bowl over number 18. And assist in administering the last rites to this match. Launched into the air, Rishi Ramesh will take his third catch of the innings. Simple as that. Aaron Nadkarni trying to make something happen, but once again hitting into the wind. Again, from this point on, it doesn't necessarily make sense to keep pointing that out, but that ball was held up into the wind from this end. Anything that is in the air will be blown back in by the wind. And so Rishi Ramesh positioning himself in exactly the right spot to be able to take that catch. So 8 down, 101 for 8. Aaron Nadkarni dismissed. Aditya Ayappan is the non-striker, and the new batter coming to the wicket will be facing up to Pranav Batad, who is into his last over. Has taken, that's the first wicket that he's taken, but he's bowled economically. 3.1 overs, 1 for 22. And even though that doesn't sound very economical, it does mean that if you're looking to restrict a team from scoring 12, 13, 14 runs and over, if you only concede 7 runs and over, which is what he's done, Pranav Batad, then you are a net positive to the goal of helping this team win. Tossed up, left-handed Vardhan Handa is on strike. They pinch a single here, he immediately gets off the mark. 4 balls remaining in the day with the ball for Pranav Batad. A really disciplined bowling performance by him, as well as most of the Texas legends. And this game has been converted tremendously from a couple of quick wickets to start, including the very first ball of the innings of the match. That's squeezed out into the offside. They'll come back for a couple. So the very first ball of this match was bowled by Vardhan Handa, and he produced a wicket, trapping the opener leg before. But everything since then has gone the way of the Texas legends. Quicker delivery on the stumps. It's a dot. 2 balls remaining in over number 18. So essentially we're just waiting on what the final score is going to be. Down the ground should just be 1. And in fact, it is just 1. So the last ball of Pranav Batad's spell coming up. 25 runs conceded from his spell with 1 ball to come. And he has taken 1 wicket. For what it's worth, another 70 runs are needed in the next 2 overs. That's down the ground for another single. End of over number 18. The score is 106 for 8. Last 2 overs here. This is Rishi Ramesh with his last over. My goodness, that ball got through. I think it was an under edge past the keeper, and they got a single. The only intrigue left in this game is to understand whether or not they will be bowled out. 107 for 8 is the score. Rishi Ramesh now bowling to Aditya Yapan. Tossed up. Oh, wanted to go big, but ends up just playing it on the offside for a dot. Rishi Ramesh, his figures 1 for 23 from 3.2. Quicker delivery, worked into the leg side. May get 2 here if they run hard. Not wanted to, but sent back. So we're down now to the last 9 balls of the day. Left-hander on strike. Vardhan Handa, 3 from 3. Rishi Ramesh is expecting him to go big. Here's a lofted ball. It will land safely in front of Pranav Batad. And they just get a single. The last 2 balls coming up in the day with the ball for Rishi Ramesh. Bowled really well. 3.4, 1 for 25. Lofted. Oh, reverse sweep. Oh, did that come off the glove? It did come off the glove, and it's a good take by the keeper. Excellent work there by him. Rishi Ramesh gets a second, and that is the 9th wicket down. I think Aditya Yapan trying to be a little inventive, trying to get that reverse sweep going behind the square. I don't know how much difference that would have made, frankly, because that ball would have been blown back in this direction by the wind. But he gloves it, and it's taken on the rebound, on the ricochet by the keeper. One-handed catch, and that is the end of the day's play. That is the end of the day with the bat for Aditya Yapan. 5 from 7, and that means that the last man is now at the crease. 6 to 7 runs needed. Let's let him stop mentioning that. That doesn't make any sense anymore. 108 for 9. Once again, the only intrigue is whether or not this match will be ended short of 20 overs. So, last 7, and here's the last ball to be bowled now by Rishi Ramesh. Quicker, and it goes through, and it is a dot. That is the end of over number 19. 2 from the over and a wicket. Last 6 balls coming up. 108 for 9. Last over, for what it's worth, lofted down the ground. This should be a catch. This should be the end of the game. And that's it. The game ends 5 deliveries early. It's Nadish Kanaria who lofts this one down the ground, and that is the end of the day's play as it relates to this game. A pretty straightforward match ends with the Katy Raiders falling well short of the target. Sohan Matam 9, Arikanantha 9, Darshan Haribabu 7. Shahryar Gar top scoring with 55. In fact, Shahryar Gar is the only batter who scored in double figures, if you can believe that. Sachin Selvakumar 3, V.S. Sriman 1, Krish Panchal 3, Aaron Nadkarni 3, Aditya Yapan 5, Vardhan Handa 4, and Nadish Kanaria joining at the very last second. Did not, in fact, faced 1 ball, and that was the end of that. Arif Soni started the bowling, was expensive, 2 overs, none for 22, but all the other bowlers did their work. Aaron Connolly, for me, the pick of the bowlers, 3 overs, 2 for 6. Abed Ayer, 3 overs, 1 for 17. Pranav Batad, 4 overs, 1 for 27. Viraj Ejner, 3 overs, 3 for 11. And Rishi Ramesh, the captain, chipping in with 2 overs or 2 runs, make that 2 wickets for 25 runs from his 4 overs. So that is the end of the match. the Katy Raiders falling woefully short. The Texas Legends winning that one by 66 runs. Pretty huge victory in the context of things. So join us here at the back end. We'll join or we'll break for lunch for the next 40 minutes or so. I believe the next match starts around 1:30. And join us around that time. For now, signing off from a windy, gusty Prairie View. We'll be back in about another 45 minutes.